G'day, it's Jamie, and welcome to Tantanoola Tigers. Today, I'm reading a few old newspaper reports about a possible European wolf shooting near Maryborough, Queensland in 1946. So we'll get into it. This first article was published in the Maryborough Chronicle, Wide Bay and Burnett Advertiser on Friday the 21st of June 1946, titled Claims to have shot at a lion. The Yengarie Lion is still at large. Police from Maryborough made inquiries in the area yesterday. They learned from Mr. R. Tannock, who reported the presence of the lion, that it had been in the locality for nearly 7 months. 2 calves are reported to have fallen victims to the animal. Although sceptical of the fact that the beast reported to have been seen is a lion, many farmers are not taking chances with their cattle and are bringing calves close to homesteads. Mr. Tannock told police that he had definitely seen a lion and had actually shot at it from a distance of 20 yards, but it escaped unharmed. According to reports received by police, the lion is operating between Yengarie and Oakhurst, the end. So this next article was published in the Courier Mail on Saturday the 13th of July, 1946, titled, Yengarie Lion yelped like a dingo when hunter scored hit. After a week of frantic hunting, the boys in Maryborough now think that the Yengarie Lion is not a lion but a dingo. Inspector T. Brannelly of Maryborough said last night, if there is anything at all, it is probably a big dingo. A complaint from a farmer started all this. He reported that 2 of his potty calves had been killed. He linked their death with mysterious roaring he had heard some months previously. We contacted reliable, sober-minded people in the district, but none of them had heard or seen any strange animal. Anyway, dingoes are quite capable of killing calves, Inspector Brannelly added. The lion was seen, shot at and hit near Maryborough on Thursday morning. But it didn't roar, it yelped. This supports the theory of police and most local residents that the lion is a big dingo. Mr. Ted Ferry, proprietor of Maryborough's commercial hotel, was the lucky marksman. Here is his story. 12 of us went out on the hunt on Thursday morning. We divided up into 3 groups of 4. I was the first to sight the animal. I was only about 40 yards away, but the country was rocky and I couldn't see it very distinctly. My first shot missed, but my second got it in the neck. It seemed to rub its neck with its paw, yelped, and then went for its life. I really think it was a big dingo. I know it wasn't a lion because it did not have a bushy mane, but it could have been a lioness. We will go out again today, camp overnight, and continue our search for the animal tomorrow. This much I know. It was the Yengarie mystery animal, because its tracks, checked with tracks of the animal reported to have been responsible for killing other animals around here. The end. Okay, so this final article was published in the Maryborough Chronicle, Wide Bay and Burnett Advertiser on Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 1946, titled, 2 bullets needed to kill the Yengarie Lion. The Yengarie Lion is dead, although in fact it was a lioness. She was shot by Mr. Christian Pedersen Mose, Maryborough Aramara mail carrier, about 20 miles from Maryborough, just off the T-Bar Road, about 7 o'clock on Friday morning last. Mr. Moe was on his way from Aramara to Maryborough on his mail run when he saw the animal. Last night, Mr. Mose, speaking from Aramara, said there was no doubt the animal would terrify even the most experienced bushman and could easily have been mistaken for a lion. The skin of the animal is now on view at Mr. Ted Ferry's commercial hotel, with a charge of 2 shillings is being made to view it, the proceeds being devoted to the Bush Children's Health Scheme. Last night, Mr. Ferry took the skin to Maryborough Police Station, where it was inspected by police officers and subsequently returned to the hotel. Tough to kill. Here is Mr. May's story. I was travelling along the road when suddenly I saw this animal. I realised it was something unusual. I immediately got a bead on it with my .303 and fired, hitting it in the head. I don't mind telling you, I was terrified that when it got up after that and tried to make towards me. I lost no time in reloading and put another bullet through its skull. That settled it. The animal looked ferocious and would have frightened the most hardened bushman. Asked what he thought the animal was, Mr. Mays replied, "Candidly, I do not know. She, it was a bitch, was far bigger than the biggest dingo I have ever seen, and I have seen some big ones, including crosses. She is too long in the hair for a dingo. Her pelt is more like fur, yet she has a bushy tail. She was very big in the head and chest, with long hair under the neck. She was not proportioned like a dingo, being more of a blocky type and very sturdy. She was of a ginger colour, and with her head turned sideways, looked for all the world like a lion. Her spoor was at least 4.5 inches. Confident was a lion. Stating that he was confident that the animal was that known as the Yengarie Lion, Mr. Mose said it was possible that it was a cross between a dingo and or an Alsatian with a collie dog. Mr. Mose discounted the theory that the animal might have been a cross between a dingo and or an Alsatian with a fox, adding that he had heard previous opinions expressed on this matter. Personally, he did not believe that a dingo would mate with a fox. Mr. Mose said that he measured the animal after it had been killed and before it had been skinned. It measured 6 feet from tip to tip and was a shade over 2 feet 6 inches high. I did not weigh her, but she was about 170 pounds. She was in splendid condition and very fat, he added. Asked whether the animal would be capable of killing calves, Mr. Mose said she was big enough to kill a calf, half a grown bullock. In fact, when I opened her, she had half a fair-sized calf in her, and there were the remains of at least one fowl. Mr. Mose said that many experienced bushmen had seen the animal, but no one could actually say what it was. The spot where the animal was shot was about 10 miles across the country from Yengarie, where the lion was first sighted. There, and wow, this is super interesting, this. It's killed 2 calves, and the bloke that first saw it and had a shot at it, he thought it was a lion because he heard roaring. But then some blokes went out hunting for it, 12 blokes went out hunting for it, and one bloke, Mr. Ferry, the guy that owns the commercial hotel, he got a shot on it, and it yelped. It didn't roar, it yelped, which makes me think it's a canine of some description. And he was saying it was a big dingo. But when he shot it, it rubbed its neck with its paw and then yelped and ran off. And then other people have seen it as well. And then Mr. Mose, the mailman, he's doing his mail route, and he was on the way from Maryborough to Maryborough, and he saw it, and he knew instantly that this was like a strange creature, and this is probably the Yengarie Lion. So he's had a shot at it, and he's hit it in the head with a .303, and it's got back up, which is like, that's totally amazing. Like, .303 should have killed it straight away. And he was terrified, he said, and he lost no time reloading and put another bullet in the skull, and that killed it. He said it looked ferocious and would have frightened the most hardened bushman. It was a bitch and far bigger than the biggest dingo he'd ever seen. He said it was too long in the hair for a dingo, and its pelt was like fur. It had a bushy tail. It was very big in the head and chest, and had long hair under the neck, and was not proportioned like a dingo. It was a ginger colour, and he said with its head turned sideways, it would look like a lion. Its spoor, or its tracks, were 4.5 inches wide. Some people thought it was a cross between a dingo and an Alsatian and a collie, and some people thought it with a fox as well. Well, canines can't breed, dogs can't breed with foxes, so that's out of the question. He measured it, and it was 6 feet from tip to tip, and it was a shade over 2 feet 6 inches high, so that's a fairly sized big animal. He reckoned it was about 170 pounds. He said it was in splendid condition. It was very fat. When he opened it up and had a look at it when he was skinned it, it had a fair-sized calf inside it, and the remains of at least one chicken or a fowl. And he said many experienced bushmen had seen it, but none could actually identify what it was. And by looking at the skin that they've got, that's probably on the screen now, to me it looks all the world like a European wolf. It doesn't look like a dingo cross, because like all these guys know what dingoes are, and none of them reckons it's a dingo. So I'd love to know what it was, but it looks like a European cross, a European wolf. And it's really interesting because the Tandanoola tiger story that I did, they also shot a European wolf there, even though that didn't turn out to be the Tandanoola tiger. All real interesting stuff. Okay, that's it from me. I'll get back to you all next time. Bye.